If I could go back in time and show my 8-year-old self who was playing stuff like Ocarina of Time, but most importantly Donkey Kong 64, and show little me what Donkey Kong would look like in terms of 3D platformers in 2025, I would have had one single reaction, and anyone who's seen South Park will understand. I would have tried freezing myself so I could skip ahead. And it probably wouldn't have worked. But boy golly would I have stopped wanting to play 64 so I could play Bonanza. Now, I'm going to say some things in this video that will probably rub some people the wrong way. I'll hear recency bias, I'll hear, oh you're glazing, whatever. Listen, we're all entitled to our opinions, but we all know objectively I have the right one. Jokes aside, I expect this to be another banger in the library of 3D platformers because Nintendo is king. While other companies definitely do get 3D platformers right, I mean Astrobot was one of my favorite games I played last year. But at the end of the day, Nintendo is the most consistent at revolutionizing 3D platformers. But I gotta admit, I thought Mario Odyssey would be their shining jewel in that department for a good time to come. Because really, 64 to Odyssey was kind of like the shining example of what I love in 3D platformers. But color me shook when I come out of like the first big world thinking, damn, they might have cooked harder than Odyssey. And once I got to the second and third abilities, I was like, oh yeah, the Odyssey team, they made something better than Mario Odyssey. That's insane to me. I saw an image that I think best represents how to explain this game, and it's something like, take the Incredible Hulk game, I think it's the PS2 one, take Odyssey, maybe throw some Breath of the Wild and Kirby's Forgotten Lands. That's this game. And to be honest, yeah, kind of. You got the equivalent of shrines, which are little challenge levels to get different bananas. The traversal, in terms of just Hulk smashing, yeah, it's kind of Hulk, but yeah, it is those games combined, but the thing is it's seriously its own entity, its own identity. And I think for a lot of people who are kind of coming into this game thinking, oh, this is not Donkey Kong Country Returns. Donkey Kong is no longer the Donkey Kong I know and love. Yeah, this isn't Donkey Kong Country Returns. This is Donkey Kong Bonanza. What they did, and I think this is what makes it brilliant, rather than keeping Donkey Kong stuck to 2D, because that's mostly where he's lived. Yeah, back in the N64, we had, of course, 64, which was a good game. I liked it. To be honest, I still think it holds up decently well. But at the end of the day, taking a pretty iconic Nintendo character, but making a brand new series that isn't tied to the constraints of something like a Mario. Because if you would have coded this with Mario, it would have worked, but I think it would have been too out there seeing Mario destroy everything. Maybe for an ability for like a level or two, sure it would work. But it couldn't work with Mario as a character to the same way it does with Donkey Kong. Because Donkey Kong be a monkey, and monkey like to smash. And I gotta admit, I truly thought this game was gonna work, but eventually the smashing mechanic would grow boring. Like, I'd get to the point where I'd understand, okay, I know how to, because there's one of the abilities is you slap your hands on the ground, and if there's something in the general area for you to uncover, it will highlight. So I thought, yeah, I'm not gonna, no, I want to smash everything. It never gets boring. And the thing about it is, I think when everyone first saw the game be revealed, they're like, oh, it's, yeah, that looks fun, but really just smashing everything, eventually it's gonna grow boring. No, Nintendo is master at collectathons. And the best part, too, is it might be one of the easiest games, not in the way that it's easy to find everything, but it's the most lack of aggravating needing to look up where something is that I've played in some time. Because whether it's the map mechanics, where sometimes when you're Hulk smashing, you'll find a treasure chest, it'll give you a map. But just the general movement of this game, and how you just naturally find everything. Like, not because it's just right in your face, but you're just naturally like, I bet if I smash here, I'll find something. And then as you're smashing to find that, you might find it, but then you'll find other things. And it's just like the natural traversal of this game is so seamless. The controls are brilliant. So Donkey Kong's like main controls are kind of like punch, jump, throw. That's a basic level. So one of the buttons, is the punch. B is to punch downwards, which just so happens to be the button that is on the bottom of the buttons, and to punch upwards. It's kind of brilliant how they laid out the control scheme. But just without even Donkey Kong being able to transform into other Bananza abilities, which are just other animals, the game would have functioned great. The idea of picking up rocks and then just like surfing on them is... There's so many just cool movements you can do, and I'm not great. Like, when I played Mario Odyssey, I was okay at the game. Like, I cleared it, like, 100%, but I wasn't, like, super amazing with the hat-throwing ability. Like, watching Donkey and all these other people just, like, do the craziest jumps and stuff, like, yeah, I'm never doing that. And I'm sure this game's gonna be the exact same once people really get going, but I did find myself being able to do more cool tricks a lot easier. And given that the Mario Odyssey team pretty much started working on this right when that game was released. This was originally designed for the Switch in mind. And then eventually, we got it being able to be developed for the Switch too. And holy hell, man. If this is what Nintendo first parties are gonna be capable of, the Switch 2 is going to absolutely rock. You'll get those people who just don't like Nintendo. They don't like their games. Whatever, that's fine. But Nintendo is one of the best companies for making games that make you just have fun, because they started out as a toy company and they've had that mindset ever since. Make games fun. But thankfully, they have evolved. They now have stories and different stuff. How Pauline has voice acting. There is more evolution to where we started off with these types of games. But I didn't have a single issue with this one. I beat the base game. I've not collected everything. I beat the base game. And I'm still going to keep on going with this for a long time, probably. But at the end of the day, with so many companies producing games that are always trying to one-up the visuals, one-up the realism, and honestly, just making something that feels so corporate and just forced together, Nintendo remains to be that one company that whatever issues you have for business practices, whatever, they are the company that still makes games to be fun. And now with the Switch 2, because I thought most first-party Nintendo games looked really good on the first Switch, because they know how to use the system. Now having the Switch 2 be as powerful as it is, we get to see the amount of expressive animations and like, I have seen some people have some performance issues in certain boss fights, and yeah, like, I noticed a little stuttering when too much crazy shit went on, but for what I'm able to do in this game and did in this game, this is like one of the least performance issue games I can recall in some time. It's incredible. I expected it would be fun. I expected I might even potentially love it. But I didn't expect to think it was probably Nintendo's best 3D platformer, potentially ever. Like, it works. And I know we ain't getting Bananza 2, the same way we won't get Odyssey 2, because I'm pretty sure the next Mario game will pretty much be the spiritual successor to Bowser's Fury, which I'm excited for. But that's kind of the nice thing, is that Nintendo always leaves you wanting more. They're like, damn, just keep giving me more of this. And besides Zelda, they haven't really continued on after that. But to be honest, if Donkey Kong Bananza is the start of a new Donkey Kong franchise, I am 100% here for it. Because this is some of the most fun I've ever had with a Nintendo game. And I've never been the biggest fan of Donkey Kong. I've liked his games. I've never loved his games. This is one of the best Nintendo games I've ever played. And the fact that I'm saying it's better than Mario Odyssey, I feel like should feel insane, but it's just that good. You let me know what you've been thinking of Donkey Kong Bananza down below, whether if you recently picked it out, you've been playing it, or if maybe you've just been peeking videos online. What are your thoughts, and do you agree with me? Let me know. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, and Patreon, I got a bunch of exclusives like live reactions to all the anime I watch, but most importantly, get ad-free early access to videos just like this one if you do want to support. So consider supporting if you so wish, but until next time, please take care and keep on smashing. Have a good one.